Most people think trauma involves just anxiety, flashbacks, or feeling on edge, but there are 5 hidden symptoms of trauma almost everyone ignores. Let's start off with one of the weirdest symptoms. Symptom number 1. Have you been getting stomach pain, nausea, or diarrhea? Several studies have found that individuals with trauma, and more specifically post-traumatic stress disorder or PTSD, had greater frequency and severity of gastrointestinal complaints. In other words, they experienced more stomach pain and more often. This could be because trauma, left untreated, might keep people's nervous systems in a fight or flight state, and this causes blood to be diverted to the muscles like the arms and legs to be primed for fighting or running away, and thus less blood goes to the stomach and intestines, causing digestive issues and discomfort. If you are having stomach issues, then do get this checked by a doctor, of course, to rule out any physical causes. However, keep in mind, this could also be trauma related. Now, this next symptom is even weirder. Symptom number 2. Are you sleeping a normal amount, like 7 to 9 hours, but you wake up feeling weirdly exhausted, as if your sleep didn't count? Well, that's kind of like plugging your phone in overnight and waking up to see it's only charged 10%. One lesser known thing that can happen with trauma or PTSD is something researchers describe as non-restorative sleep. So basically, that means that the sleep looks long enough on paper, but doesn't actually leave you feeling recharged. When experts say non-restorative sleep, what they usually mean is not getting enough deep, steady, uninterrupted sleep. So you wake up tired even though you were in bed for ages. And trauma can mess with this for a pretty understandable reason. It can put your nervous system into high alert. If your brain is stuck in danger mode, it's harder to fully relax into the deeper stages of sleep. So your sleep can stay lighter, more easily disrupted, and you might wake up more during the night, and sometimes without even remembering it. It's a bit like trying to sleep in the jungle when your brain's convinced there's a hungry tiger prowling around. So part of you is going to be pretty tense and on watch, making it harder to get that deep restorative sleep. But this next symptom is even more unusual. Symptom number 3. Have you had any unexplained dizziness, headaches, or tinnitus? What has been documented in medical research is that these unexplained symptoms can be associated with PTSD. For example, one study conducted with traumatized Cambodian refugees found that within 3 months of their PTSD being treated, their unexplained physical symptoms also reduced. So the mind and body are certainly interconnected, and trauma and high stress can do some strange things to the mind and body. It's also possible that trauma may overactivate some parts of the brain, which could perhaps cause these weird side effects. Of course, as always, get any physical symptoms checked by a doctor to rule out physical causes. Now, this next symptom might be completely unexpected and affects many people without them knowing. Symptom number 4. Do you constantly think about work, even when you're not working? Do you struggle to switch off or live in a constant mode of rushing, cramming, and doing just one more thing? Well, this might be workaholism. Workaholism isn't just working a lot. It's feeling compelled to work, even when it's hurting your health, your sleep, and your relationships. And this is where trauma can come in. For some people, especially with childhood trauma, the brain learns these hidden rules, such as, if I'm not doing enough, I'm not safe. If I'm not impressive enough, I'm not going to be lovable. If I stop working, everything will fall apart. So work becomes a socially acceptable way to cope. But there's also a body piece that explains why working intensely feels so addictive. You see, when you're rushing, chasing deadlines, cramming tasks, your body releases stress chemicals like adrenaline and cortisol. In the short term, that can feel like energy and maybe even relief, and your brain starts linking busy equals safe, which means stillness can feel weirdly dangerous. And that's why some people just can't relax on a day off. The moment they stop, their body goes, uh-oh, we might have to feel things, we better stay busy. So you stay in motion. And sometimes it's practical too. If you grew up with financial instability or chaos, working harder can feel like preventing that pain from ever happening again. So if you're hearing this and thinking, yep, that's me, then know this: your nervous system might be trying to protect you, but it's just using a strategy that burns you out. If you think you might be a workaholic, then it's worth checking out a free 12-step support group like Workaholics Anonymous. But this last symptom of trauma is perhaps the strangest of them all. Symptom number 5. Do things sound a bit too loud? Do noises feel like they're grating on your brain, such as the sound of running water, cars, people talking, or perhaps the hum of lights or electrical appliances? This might be hyperacusis, which is a state of heightened hearing and is a known phenomenon associated with trauma and PTSD. One study found, in fact, that veterans with PTSD were between 2 to 7 times more likely to have a diagnosis of hyperacusis. Personally, I had hyperacusis for a while after a major trauma, and it was really frightening. Things just sounded so much louder than they should be, and it was really overwhelming, and I didn't know what was happening. I thought I was going crazy or something, but it turns out that this may be just a really normal symptom of PTSD and might be due to temporarily impaired brain processing, possibly due to an overactive amygdala, which is the security center of the brain. Now, of course, do get this checked by a doctor to rule out physical and other potential neurological causes. So, have you experienced any of these symptoms? Please let me know in the comments below. You're probably not alone. Now, did you know that there are also 5 hidden symptoms of trauma's cousin, anxiety, which I cover in this video here? And finally, if there are any conditions or topics you'd like me to cover in my next videos, please let me know in the comments below. And remember, this video is not a replacement for psychiatric or medical diagnosis, treatment, or advice.